Hello students, hope you are well and working hard to achieve your goals. So welcome to your commerce class. Today we will start with our next chapter, chapter number 21, World Trade Organization. So in this chapter we are going to discuss the introduction and the meaning of World Trade Organization. Then we will discuss its status, objectives, features, scope, and the functions that are involved in a World Trade Organization. After that, we will discuss the relationship between the World Trade Organization and India. So first of all, we will discuss the meaning of World Trade Organization. So it is a combination of three words that are world plus trade and organization. World means the earth together with all its countries like US, China, India, Australia, and the people, which includes Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus, means all are living together and make a world. Then second one is trade. So an example of trade is a tea trade, where tea is imported from China and purchased in the US. Means the action of buying and selling of goods and services between the various countries is called as trade. Then the third one is organization. For example, like insurance companies, engineering firms, law firms, then regulatory agencies, all are included in an organization. Means an organization is a group of people who work together in an organized way for shared purpose, like a neighborhood association, a charity, a union, or a corporation. All are included in an organization. So there are some legal formalities, legal rules and regulations that have to be followed and that are included in the organization. So now simply an organization which provides rules and regulations to international trade for selling and buying of goods and services between countries is called as World Trade Organization. So we will take another example. India is exporting goods like pearls, precious stones or semi-precious stones, gold, iron and steel to other countries like USA, UAE, China and Hong Kong without facing much difficulties of shipping and taxes. That means that the World Trade Organization is the only international trade organization dealing with the rules of trade. So its main function is to see that trade flows smoothly, predictably and as free as possible. So by reducing the trade barriers like taxes or duties charged on goods through negotiations among member governments, the World Trade Organization is the system that reduces or the break down other barriers like language or distance between people and trading countries. So it is formed on 1st January 1995, that means 25 years ago. It is a type of international trade organization. Its main purpose is to reduce the tariffs. Tariffs means the taxes or duties and the other barriers like language and distance to trade. Its headquarters is at St. William Rapid, Geneva, Switzerland. It served in a region worldwide. Means all are the countries are included in a World Trade Organization. Next one is that the membership. So 164 member states are the members of the World Trade Organization. Then its official languages are English, French and Spanish. Its Director General is Roberto Azevedo. Then its budget is that 197.2 million in 2018. Its staff is 640 people. Then website is www.wto.org, means organization. So this is some important points that are included in a World Trade Organization. So now these are some member states that are the member countries of World Trade Organization. In this we are including like Australia, Canada, China, likewise France, Germany, Indonesia, Pakistan. Then India is also an part of the World Trade Organization. So now we will discuss our key terms. So in this, first of all, we will discuss our key terms, that is IMF. IMF means that International Monetary Fund. First of all, we will take an example. India has been offered $4 billion by the International Monetary Fund to combat the COVID-19 pandemic and partly cushion the impact of the country's economic growth. Means the International Monetary Fund is an international organization headquartered in Washington, D.C., consisting of 189 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth. And its main objective is to reduce poverty around the world. So next one is World Bank. The World Bank Board of Executive Directors on April 2, 2020 approved a fast track of $1 billion to India COVID-19 emergency response and health systems preparedness project to help India prevent, detect and respond to the COVID-19. So the World Bank is an international financial institution that provides loans and grants to the governments of poorer countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. Next is GATT. GATT means the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. For example, like Canada, United States Free Trade Agreement. So the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade is a legal agreement between many countries whose overall purpose is to promote international trade by reducing or eliminating trade barriers such as tariffs or taxes. So the World Trade Organization is the successor to GATT. Next one is tariffs. So a tariff is a tax imposed by one country on the goods and services imported from another country. Tariff is called as a custom duty or a tax levied upon goods as they cross national boundaries, usually by the government of the importing country. So the words tariff, duty, and the custom can be used interchangeably. So now we will discuss World Trade Organization. So first of all, we will take an example of World Trade Organization. Suppose in India, the price of producing basmati rice is rupees 20 per kg, and in US, the price of producing the basmati rice is of rupees 25 per kg. So the US decides to import the basmati rice from India and sell it in its own country. Taxes charged on import of rice is rupees 10 per kg, and ultimately cost increases to rupees 30 per kg. That means the production at India is rupees 20 plus the taxes of rupees 10 per kg, that means 30 per kg. So it would become expensive to import rice from India to US. But World Trade Organization reduces the taxes rupees 2 per kg on rice, in which the price of exporting the rice is rupees 22 per kg. That is lower than the 25 per kg. So now the US decides to import rice from India as it provides less cost than producing rice on its own country. So in this way, the World Trade Organization reduces the taxes and increases the import and export of the goods and services. Likewise, we will take another example. To contain the spread of COVID-19, many World Trade Organization members imposed temporary barriers or temporary border closures and travel restrictions. So now the World Trade Organization or WTO, the abbreviation for World Trade Organization, it means that it is the only international trade organization dealing with the rules of trade. The WTO has lowered trade barriers. Trade barriers includes like taxes and increased trade among member countries. So WTO deals in, first of all, that the agriculture includes fruits, vegetables, crops. Then textiles and clothing like wool, silk, linen, cotton. Likewise, the banking services, it includes deposits and the loan facilities that are provided by a bank. Then telecommunications like internet, telephone, computer network. After that, it deals with government purchases like heavy machinery. Then industrial standards and product safety, food sanitation regulations, intellectual property. Intellectual property includes name, logo, design, color. For example, like Coca-Cola has colored red for bottles. So no other soft drink company copy this. This is called as an intellectual property. So World Trade Organization provides restrictions relating to trade in nuclear materials, narcotic drugs, weapons, and several measures to protect the environment. Next is introduction of the World Trade Organization. So the establishment of the World Trade Organization as the successor to the GATT on January 1st, 1995 under the Marrakesh Agreement places the global trading system on a firm constitutional footing with the evolution of international economic legislation resulted through the Uruguay round of GATT negotiations. Now, the status of the World Trade Organization is that it is officially defined as the legal and institutional foundation of the multilateral trade system. Unlike GATT, the World Trade Organization is a permanent organization that is created by international treaty ratified by the governments and the legislatures of the member countries. So now we will discuss about the objectives of World Trade Organization. In the objective we will include the free and fair trade and the trade without obstruction. So the first point is that to ensure the reduction of tariffs, that is taxes, and the other barriers like license, custom duty, language, and distance to trade. Second main objective is to eliminate discriminatory treatment between developed countries like Norway, Switzerland, Germany, and underdeveloped countries like Afghanistan, Bhutan in international trade relations. The third objective is to facilitate higher standards of living, full employment, and an increase in production and the trade in goods and services of the member nations. For example, like India. Then, to facilitate the optimal use of the world's resources like oil, natural gas, minerals for sustainable development. After that, to promote an integrated, more viable and durable trading system. Then, to promote multilateral world trade, that means involvement of more than two countries like India, China, USA, UAE in a manner that benefits every country. Then to abolish all hindrances like taxes, language, licensing, duties to an open world trading system and use world trade as an effective instrument to foster economic growth. Last objective is to enhance competitiveness among all trading partners like India, Australia, China, USA so as to benefit customers or the consumers. Next we will discuss our features of the World Trade Organization. So World Trade Organization has been established in place of GATT. It promotes multilateral trade. Being an international organization means involvement of more than two countries. Like we include India, China, USA, Australia, UAE. Unlike the GATT, it has a legal entity. Then it removes tariffs like taxes and non-tariff barriers like import-export license, subsidies, language, distance in international trade. Next feature is that unlike the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, it is not an agent of the United Nations. Likewise, unlike the IMF and World Bank, there is no voting, but all the World Trade Organization members have equal voting rights. Then, unlike the GATT, the agreements under the World Trade Organization are permanent and binding to the member countries. Unlike the GATT, the World Trade Organization's approach is rule-based and time-bound. Unlike the GATT, the World Trade Organization has a wider coverage. It covers trade in goods like gold, stones, oil, cotton, as well as services like banking, insurance that are not included in GATT. Likewise, unlike the GATT, the World Trade Organization has a focus on trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights like names, logos, designs, symbols, and several other issues of agreements. For example, like YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, Amazon, Myntra has their own logo and no other app can use it. Likewise, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they have their own colors. Then no other soft drink company can copy this. So the last feature of the World Trade Organization is that it has a large secretariat and huge organizational setup. Now we will discuss the scope of the World Trade Organization. So GATT was mainly concerned with promotion of trade of goods. Trade in services was not given due importance. Now the World Trade Organization includes the following. First of all, that trade in goods, for example like agriculture, textiles, clothing, industrial products. Then it deals in trade in services, for example like banking, telecommunications, insurance. Then it includes protection of trade related intellectual property rights, for example like names, logos, design, color, symbols. And the last one is that trade related investment measures. All are included in World Trade Organization. So now we will discuss our functions of the World Trade Organization. So the first one is to settle the controversies. For example, the dispute related to export subsidies. Subsidies means money provided by government in India and USA. So as various types of subsidies are provided by India in steel products, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, textiles, and prices of these goods reduce. So other countries can't compete with these prices of goods. So at that time, World Trade Organization has recommended India to withdraw subsidies on these products that were exported to other countries. So the World Trade Organization shall undertake the task of settlement of trade related disputes among member states which arise from their different understandings of the rules and procedure agreed upon. Second function is to provide proper stage. It provides proper stage for the members regarding trade and tariffs. Tariffs means that the taxes or duties that are imposed on goods and services. Then the third function is to provide facilities. For example, World Trade Organization provide the following facilities to India. Like first one is removal of licensing on import and export of products like oil, precious stones, cereals. Then reduction in taxes and duties. After that, providing ways of shipping of goods. Then selling of Indian products with their own names to other countries. Then proper utilization of natural resources. So the World Trade Organization provides the framework for implementation, administration and operation of multilateral trade agreements. Then the fourth function is optimum utilization of resources. For example, in India, the natural resources like water, soil, minerals, oil, natural gas, iron are properly utilized and exported to other countries who are the members of the World Trade Organization. So there is the optimum use of resources in World Trade Organization. Next, the fifth objective is, or the fifth main function is to implement the rules. For example, in COVID-19, World Trade Organization has given rules regarding restrictions on traveling of goods and people to various countries. So the World Trade Organization is to lay down rules and regulations and to ensure the implementation of code of conduct aiming at reducing trade barriers like import export license rules formalities. Then the last objective or the function of the World Trade Organization is to cooperate with IMF and World Bank. So in order to evolve a coherent global economic policy, World Trade Organization cooperates in an appropriate manner with the IMF, World Bank and its affiliated agencies. So the last topic is the WTO and India. So India is one of the founder members of the World Trade Organization. India has most of its foreign trade with those countries that are the members of the World Trade Organization. So following arguments can be advanced in favor of the World Trade Organization for India. For example, like as India is rich in agricultural products like basmati rice, pulses, wheat. India produces its products and sell it to the other countries with the help of World Trade Organization. So in this way, it increases in foreign trade. Foreign trade means the machinery, gold, diamonds and oil, import and export of these goods. In this way, the foreign trade is increases. Then increase in agricultural exports like cereals, pulses. Increase in inflow of foreign investment. Improvement in services like banking provides online deposits and withdrawing facility to their customers. Then restrict dumping because of exported goods have same prices with the domestic goods, and in this way the restrict dumping of the goods and services from one country to other. Then promotion of research. So now we will discuss the arguments that are given against the World Trade Organization for India. For example, due to COVID-19, the prices of necessity goods are increasing. Most of the people losing their jobs. So, World Trade Organization provides disadvantage to agriculture sector. For example, like cotton, wool, silk sell at less prices in other countries due to the difference in currency values. Then Loss to domestic industries like khadi, patent of Indian herbs by foreign company like haldi, then increase in prices of domestic goods compared to foreign goods. For example, like Amazon has less prices of products. Then disadvantage to service sector, education education is expensive in India. So this is the disadvantage that have seen due to World Trade Organization. Then increase in unemployment because most of the people go to the other countries to do job because of difference in the value of currencies. So this is all about the World Trade Organization and India. So today we have discussed the World Trade Organization, its introduction, status, objectives, features, scope, functions, and the World Trade Organization and India. So now it's time for your homework. So you have to write your question answers. Your first question is, what is World Trade Organization? State its objectives and functions. Then your second question is, explain the features of the World Trade Organization. Your third question is, write the role of the World Trade Organization and state its scope. So go through the other YouTube links so that you can get the better knowledge of this topic, that is World Trade Organization, and you are able to write the answer.